Ibrahim Waiya is the Executive Director, Citizens for Development and Education, and spokesperson of the Renaissance Coalition, a group established and committed to intervene and restore understanding on the lingering rift between the Kano government and the Emirates. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us via telephone. This is part of the release by the Kano Anti-Graft Agency, we understand. If I could quote this and you can hear me. According to the Commission, the initial amount at the Emirates bank account with First Bank prior to the death of late Adobayoro was over 7 billion. But after a few withdrawals, Emir Sanusi inherited 4.7 billion. We want to get a clearer understanding of this. The bulk of this, the Commission has alleged, was illegally spent. It has asked the state government to implement its initial recommendations in the interest in that release which it made. But are you now getting a clearer picture of this since you are in the center, serving as a mediator? What have you done about the feud to this point?
Well, actually, in the first place, I really tend to disagree with what the chairman really claimed, and because as far as we know, actually, the issue of the figure he's talking about, 4.7 million, is not really is completely out of place, because actually, in the reply of His Highness to the state government, as far as the issue of the query is concerned, he really confirmed that it was just only 1.8 billion that was just only inherited by the Emir Council. And considering the number of years he has spent on his throne, about 5 years you're talking about, these include issues of paying salaries for the staff of the Emir Council, not only staff of the Emir Council, even the administrative expenses and the rest of them. They are all things that are done by the Emir Council and by the money which is in the post of the Emir Council. So actually, the issue of spending, I think Muhammad Gajiri should really understand there's a difference between expenditure and the fraud. One, there's an expenditure. It's something that a commission, and maybe an institution, an agency of government, or a body is attempted to spend. Even in our own offices, like civil society organizations, we have expenditure, running of the office and the rest of them. And this involves a lot of money, and it consumes a lot of money on a daily basis. So there's a difference between the expenditure and the fraud. He's really claiming that the money was spent fraudulently. And another thing, again, that he should really understand, the issue of even starting from the trial he's talking about, issue of the trial of media is really completely out of place as far as we are concerned, because this issue is before the court, and the court is considering everything. We cannot really see the reason why Muhammad Gajiri Commission should be the one to be at least serving in the position as a judge, at the same time probably recommending a kind of sections, at the same time also telling the people this is the way how it should be there. You should not really be a judge at the same time. Just only as a commission. Okay,
if I may butt in again, that same statement released by Muhui, the anti-graft chairman, he says that any claims that the Emir is not an accounting officer of the Kano Emirate Council is a deception and a misrepresentation of facts. That is what he said in his release, which we have also with us here. So then, since the Emir is saying that he is not at any point the accounting officer, and then the anti-graft agency is also saying that that is a false representation and a deception of the facts, where do you stand?
Well, actually, what Emir said is quite really very true, because he's not an accounting officer. In every ministry, just like maybe in the normal conventional ministry we do really have, right? A permanent secretary is normally an accounting officer. It's somebody that he can account for everything he has really spent. A commissioner probably could not be in the position of everything, because he is a seasoned, he's considered to be a career civil servant. So he's in the future of everything. And he's expected that any time when there's any need for any expenditure, he should be the one to see to the approval of that, to make sure that it complies with the guidelines, operate or guidelines to regulating that kind of agency or commission. So in the Emir Council, in the case of the Emir Council, the Emir is not an accounting officer. The accounting officer is the secretary to the Emirates, and who keeps every record and everything. And as an Emir, do you really expect that an Emir will be invited somewhere to a function and you expect him that nothing will be spent for the entrance, for the people? And do you expect him to be there himself alone? Anywhere an Emir is going, he is assumed that he's performing an official function on behalf of the people.
So how do you as an arbiter in this, how do you intend to go about resolving the issues?
What we are really saying all the time is that we should really stop this witch hunting because it's completely living political. We do not really expect this kind of things from Waiya even the late commission because he was one time an activist and he really still claims to be an activist. So we expect him at least to exercise some kind of to observe some kind of conduct in the conduct of his own things and also to comply with the code of conduct because there are certain things that he should do, there are certain things that he could not do. This is something that is before the court. You cannot go on media all the time talking about it and indicting somebody. It's only a court that can indict a person, telling the whole world that yes, he is being indicted because he is being found to be guilty of what he's been accused of. But somebody like Waiya doing that is really, honestly speaking, adding a fire to the whole thing. And that is exactly what we really hate. We want them to exercise restraint because it's not helping the matter. It's not helping the people of Kano. This is not what we really elected the government to do. We do not expect the government to do this kind of thing because it's something that is not in the best interest of the government. Not in the best interest of the people, and it is anti-people, it is uncivilized, undemocratic, and undiplomatic because we do not really accept this kind of thing. What the creation of Emir Council will really do to the people of Kano, in what way will it really help the people?
Okay.
It will not really help us in any way.
All right,
so the way we really
I must come in at this point and thank you so much indeed for talking to us. I'm afraid that that's the much we can take. For talking to us, Ibrahim Waiya is the President of Citizens for Development and Education and spokesperson of the Renaissance Coalition, a group established and committed to intervene and restore understanding on the lingering rift between the Kano State government and the Emirate. And to you for being a part of the show, thank you so much indeed for watching. I'm Gimba Umar. We'll see you same time next week for a fresh package. Until then, bye for now.